Hey, my friend. So I just made an entire YouTube video about creativity and how in order to succeed in your life in general, which is really an extension of your creativity, because creativity is not just about when you're like putting the brush to the canvas or when you're in the studio, but creativity it's an extension of your energy, of how you're living your normal life, right? So the way you wash the dishes actually extends into the art that you make, right? The music you make, the writing that you do, the painting, the movies, whatever you like to do, right? The crocheting, whatever it is. I talked about in that video that in order to succeed in your creativity, it's important to cultivate your mind and your heart and to purify yourself of attachment. Clinging, which all sort of stems from the almost like an illusion of what you think reality is, and you like the way you relate to reality is, it's a very sort of survival, fear, lack, and delusion based way, which puts a lot of strain on your relationships, right? Then you become forceful and aggressive because you need other people to be different, right? So you fight them, or then other people need you to be different, so you need to protect yourself, and you need to make your video right in a certain way. You need to make your art, and you need to get more subscribers, and you need to make money, and you're scared, and you fight with your roommates because they're not cleaning properly, because you need everything to be a certain way in order to I guess make you happy. But the point is, you're not realizing that happiness doesn't come from a specific set of circumstances, but it actually comes from cultivating the awakened state of mind, which is the state of like allowing, right? And it's a little bit detailed. So I made a whole video about this, and why am I telling you this? Because when I went to go click off, I realized that the camera was actually recording in the wrong direction. So the video is about creativity and not being attached to making it perfect. Luckily, I guess the video itself is an expression of the point that I'm trying to make, that things don't always turn out the way that you want, but that's kind of doesn't matter, because what you want is selfish and often very small-minded, and yeah, a lot of times you don't even know what you want. You think you do, though. Okay, so I encourage you to watch my video. I'm gonna put it next, so it'll just be the audio. Okay, so enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. So there's this quote from a book that is one of my favorite books that I've never read. It's called Dharma Art by the Tibetan Buddhist teacher Chogyam Trunga, who's one of my favorite teachers. He was famous for bringing Tibetan Buddhism from a warring Tibet. They were being invaded by China in the 1980s. It was his job, I think it was the 70s, it was his job to bring the entire body of Tibetan Buddhism, which is kind of not really possible because there's like thousands and there's like hundreds of thousands of scrolls and stuff. But nevertheless, as someone who trained as a Tibetan Buddhist monk and attained enlightenment, right, whatever that means, he was a genuine master of the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha, and it was his job to bring the teachings to a Western audience. And I think he did an amazing job. He's one of my favorite teachers. I have plenty of his books recommended on my book list. And one of his books, which I haven't read, so it's not on my book list, is called Dharma Art. And the reason I wanted to talk about it today is because I've been requested to speak about creativity, and there's this one quote that's on the back of the book that is so powerful that it's just like, it really guides a lot of my creative expression, and it's just been something I've been contemplating a lot, and it's kind of the idea that I wanted to share with you today. The quote is, "Dharma art is simply the activity of non-aggression." So Dharma is like the truth. It's one teacher that I went on a retreat back in 2019. It was a Dzogchen retreat. One of the teachers there, his name was Lama Mark Weber. He was trying to define this word dharma, and he said it's impossible. There's too many definitions. But he did his best, and one of the definitions of dharma, which is like truth, like the true way of enlightenment, like the way to really be connected to reality, to really like the truth, it's the real stuff. I don't know how else to put it. One definition is just simply non-aggression, and I believe Trungpa said this as well. Non-aggression. So in my personal life, I've suffered a lot by trying to force other people to be different than how they are, trying to change people, right? Thinking that I'm better than them, right? Thinking that they should be different, right? I've been caused a lot of pain as well, but it's kind of complicated. But by other people trying, you don't like that feeling, right? When other people try to change you, then when they try to sort of like stick their hands in there and criticize you or try to fix you, right? You don't like being fixed unless you ask for it, right? Unless you're like, you need help and you're open and you're asking. But when someone sort of just shows up unannounced and starts to like stick their hands and try to like change you, it's difficult. It doesn't feel good. And if you were an enlightened master, right? Ideally, again, this idea of the enlightened master, right? It's not like, it's just means someone who's really experienced, someone who's practiced the way of life very deeply and who has studied under a master, who has passed down the lineage of the true teachings of the victorious ones, the ones who have won. They've succeeded, they've conquered their own selfishness and their own craving and clinging and aggression. Yeah, I'm not really there. I'm not really close to being there. So when people try to change me, I almost like fight back, right? Like, oh, you shouldn't try to change me, right? But then in this weird way, it's like I'm trying to tell them not to try to change me. So, but it's like I'm trying to change their tendency to be aggressive in a weird way. So this has caused lots of fights for me with my loved ones. And I've kind of learned, like, well, if I'm really going to like actually try to embody meditation, and we're going to talk about creativity, guys, I'm just a personal story, but if I'm really going to try to embody like the genuine dharma, the teachings of meditation, then I can't blame other people for being aggressive or for being selfish, for being rude, for being not understanding, not, yeah. In a weird way, it's like you almost have to like allow them to just sort of be as they are. And this is scary. This is really scary. Because it can feel like you're almost being a doormat, or you're like allowing other people to like trample over you or to hurt you or to like change you, and you don't want that, right? How do I put this? But in a weird way, when you give evil nothing to oppose, it sort of disappears by itself. This is a famous quote. I think it's a proverb. Give evil nothing to oppose and it disappears by itself. I think it's Tao Te Ching. So it's kind of counterintuitive, because you'd think like I need to like set these like strong boundaries, and if someone crosses my boundary, I need to bite, right? Or I need to like yell or scream or whatever. But in a weird way, it's like by just sort of like allowing everything to be, not attempting to need to manipulate or change the present moment. It's this realization from the Mahayana branch of Buddhism, this realization of like Buddha nature is always present. So when you realize Buddha nature is always present, this almost means like you have nothing to strive for. The goal of the path is already present. It's not like you need to like work really hard to like gain complete satisfaction, complete enlightenment, complete understanding, acceptance, and also support as well. I've discovered when you sort of let go of the need to manipulate and change your experience, this like radical surrender, right? You can realize that Buddha nature is already present. So you can sit with this for a while, and you should feel like there's less desire to like get something from the past into the future, try to like dragging the past into the present, which is unnecessary, or trying to push the present into the future. When these desires that arise from delusion, from ignorance, not really paying attention to really what's happening, to the truth, the ignoring of your inherent goodness, or the inherent goodness just of the moment, without concepts stapled onto it, just like without dragging all of the problems of the day or all of the fears and worries. I'm not going to make enough money. I need to do this. I need to like rush and hurry up to like make a piece of art, right? Or I need to like make something to like gain approval or gain money or gain more subscribers or to gain clients or whatever it is. So this is where we're getting into the art, right? Dharma art. So dharma art is literally the activity of not needing things, not needing something from the moment, but it's almost like a celebration of the inherent goodness of mind, of the presence of truth, of the knowledge, the understanding of the almost like the inherent emptiness of phenomena. Meaning that you see clearly the nature of experiences. You kind of see clearly through lots of meditation practice, or even just paying attention now, seeing that things, right, that you need and want, or just things in general, the way things are not like really there as a solid object, but it's more so like it's like a combination of transient phenomena, like an apparition, right? It's like when you look at an object. I got these like blinds here. Yeah, it, of course, when you touch it, you feel it, right? It's solid, right? But if you really break it down into like what is it made of, right? It's made of the sensation of touch, which is impermanent. It's made of the sensation of sight, right? That there's the color, right? Which is also impermanent. There's maybe a certain smell, perhaps there's a taste, right? Maybe I'll eat this to prove my point. But the sensations are always impermanent. So every phenomenon, whether it's having sex or eating food or getting praise or getting money or getting these things that you need, right? They don't ever satisfy you because they end. Because you can't bank your happiness and your satisfaction on a thing, because a thing isn't really there. A thing is actually a concept. So what we learn to do through meditation practice is we learn to, instead of relying on objects, a certain amount of money, a certain house, a certain relationship, a certain behavior from a certain person, right? So we have all these fears, right? I'm scared, if I don't store up all this food in my basement, then one day when I lose my job, or if I don't get paid enough, I'm starve, right? So it's this like deep distrust in God, you could say, this deep distrust in it's a disconnection from the inherent support of being, of life. You're supported. And actually, in a weird way, the more you can let go and surrender, the easier abundance and support and healthy relationships, positive opportunities, that can come in the form of money. It can come in the not even needing to be money, but it can be, you're supported, you're taken care of. The more you can almost trust and let go and just be in the exaltation of the knowing of the truth of Buddha mind, which is it's a lot, but so when you devote yourself to some sort of spiritual practice that does involve purifying your delusion, your attachment to concepts, your attachment to the way you think things are and what you think you need, but more so just kind of sitting and realizing what's true. What is reality? What is now? What is it? What actually is it? What's it? What is it like? Do you know? You sure? Right? So this practice, it actually humbles you. It purifies your arrogance. I already know what reality is. I already got it all figured out. I read a lot of books. I've been alive for so many years. I got it all figured out. So the meditation practice, that arrogance, right? That it's like it almost keeps you apart from knowledge, because true knowledge is actually not knowing, and it's this sort of humility, this openness to receiving, right? When the true wisdom comes from almost like not exalting yourself, right? There's the Bible quote, "Those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." So not needing to like assert and to like to project what you think reality is, but almost like doing practices that allow you to open up to just like this non-conceptual frame of mind, this which is always there. That's what I'm saying. The root of your mind is unconditioned. It's just when you sit without concepts, what's left? You don't call the door a door. You don't call the tree a tree. You don't call the dog a dog. You just sort of sit and be and just like, right? What happens is your energy levels expand, and you're just like okay, basically. Your things are okay. And then since reality is almost like a mirror, and you're not protecting yourself so much, you're not like guarding yourself so much, you're not reacting so quickly to like other people's pokes or to the tests of life from your girlfriend, annoying you, or you're not reacting so quickly. You're like just kind of open, and you're not attached to getting sex or getting money or getting anything. You're almost like you have Buddha mind, like you have your practice, you have existence to like fall back on, or to like take refuge in, or to like the nature of your mind becomes all you need. Then you can like slowly let go of attachments to like, oh, I need to make money, or like I need to get sex, or I need to get this certain experience, this certain type of food. It has to be, my house has to be the way that I want it to be, and if it's not that way, I'm gonna have a panic attack or an anxiety attack, right? So when you don't do spiritual work, and you don't meditate, you don't like devote yourself to developing these qualities, these enlightened qualities of generosity, patience, discipline meaning also like wakefulness, wisdom. You don't develop these qualities, what happens is you become very sort of fragile, and you act a lot out of like lack. and it causes strain on your relationships. It causes strain on your business. It prevents opportunities from like flowing into your life, because you're just so like attached, and you're fighting against everything, and it actually wastes a lot of energy when you're fighting. And when you're forceful, it's almost like you can't just allow things to come through, and you can't create nice art, right? So let's bring it back to art. I think I'm running out of time soon. I have a coaching call soon. But yeah, art is the activity of non-aggression. So when you don't need money, or when you don't need to be recognized, or you don't need to be cool, or you don't even need the art to be a certain way, you almost like, you just let it. You let it, like, it's good. It's inherently good, right? Because think about it, when you're making art, what's the problem? The problem is that you're judging yourself the whole time, and you're like have a vision for how it has to be, and you're like want it to be that way, and maybe there's a little bit of that. That's fine, but a lot of times it doesn't work. Right? So when you're aggressive, I've done this too, when you're like trying to make a video, right? You're like trying to get views, or you're like trying to like do it properly, right? It just breaks down. The whole thing just doesn't work, because it's fake, it's false, it's needy, it's egotistical, it's selfish, it's not considerate. You're not considering the moment. You're not considering, you're too selfish, basically. Like, it's all about you, and it's not about others. So yeah, I hope I've tried to share the true dharma. I'm trying. I don't know. I don't feel, because my teacher is just like so fucking amazing that like whenever I try to talk, I'm just like, oh well, I think I'm pretty delusional. So um hopefully this is helpful though. I've been getting video requests to make videos, so if you have a certain topic that you'd like me to speak about, then please leave comments, because I don't really know what to talk about unless you request, so please do. Creativity, yeah, I think I've said everything I needed to say. It's the activity of non-aggression, and creativity is your whole life. It's not just like when you're making art, it's your whole life. It's every moment, right? You're not, are you aggressive when you wash the dishes? You like need to like hurry up and like be in a rush. Hurry up and finish those dishes so you can like hurry up and like get to the next moment. Or you do like hoard things in your house, which we're going to talk about in another video. I'm really excited about that. Decluttering, very excited about that topic. Do you like hoard items because you're scared, like if you lose them, then you're gonna die? If you like get rid of that like electronic box, or you get rid of those like those cables that you never use, or you get rid of all these like extra clothes that you have, like do you hoard stuff? Right, that's a form of aggression in a certain way. This like self-protection makes you fragile, makes you fearful. So your whole life is creativity, and I guess the goal is to cultivate non-clinging awareness, which brings wisdom, it brings compassion, and it makes you a Buddha. It makes you an enlightened one, and it allows you to not cause suffering to yourself and others. And you can actually do the opposite of not cause suffering, which is already a big step, but you can even be good. You can even benefit others, which is very difficult to do without working on your internal state and your meditation and your spiritual practice first. Yeah. So if that's something that you'd like to be part of, I'm actually about to hop on my coaching call right now. I have a group of the most amazing people ever, and we discuss these subjects. So if you'd like to be part of that, then there's a link somewhere in the description where you can send me an email and we'll talk, and we'll talk about the details and that kind of thing. So I hope this was helpful. I'll make more videos soon, and leave me a comment if you like it. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we will be releasing more videos on the way about, um, um, you know, life and stuff. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.